Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Metacast 36. This is going to be our very first episode of a new format of power rankings and podcast type show. My name is Dory K. I am coming from the Sept. I am your host of the Krypton division, and I am your own personal leprechaun, so feel free to make fun of me in banter chat. Anyways, this show is going to be primarily focused on giving you guys a little bit of a rundown of what happens from week to week, give you guys the power rankings, assess the previous week's power rankings, and then compare them to what we think now based on what's going on, give you guys the match of the week, which may or may not actually be the stream match each week. Spoilers, it's probably not going to be. It depends. The stream matches are predetermined, but what I think is the most hype in the division might not be that, especially when it's predicted way ahead of time what it's determined way ahead of time what the match of the week is going to be. So without further ado, I'm going to give you a little disclaimer. Preseason power rankings are entirely based on what you see on paper. Do not take the preseason power rankings very seriously. We did our best, myself and your division lead, Arsrio. So please do not start any witch hunts over our opinions. There are opinions and our opinions only. We try to avoid having any bias as we can. And at the end of this video, if you make it to the end, I'll tell you how you can get involved if you do think that you can help us improve it a little bit. So without further ado, let's take a look at the preseason power rankings. We got Horizon Gaming Zenith, definitely NMU XD, Sun Leviathan, DA Obsidian, Lotus Ink Bullet, Scarlet Vengeance, Raijin, the Clown Fiesta, OME Outbreak, and Cafe DRX. Again, this is all on paper. We have a little bit of context to talk about, a little bit of information about these teams, but aside from that, this is kind of our shot in the dark, what we thought the standings might kind of shape out to be. And spoilers, it's not going to stay that way, because we watched a very hyped series of matches in week one. Well, not a lot of us watched it. We're going to actually start streaming this week on Wednesdays, but it didn't go the way you think, because after week one, we've done a little bit of adjusting. Horizon Gaming Zenith still sitting on top, but we've actually shuffled Scarlet Vengeance and the Clown Fiesta, who took decisive wins, to the top. In second and third, Sun Leviathan and DA Obsidian kind of still holding their ground exactly where they are. Lotus Ink Bullets, off of a nice 2-0 win over Cafe DRX, managed to find themselves in sixth. Definitely NMU have dropped all the way to seventh after their disappointing loss. And then OME Outbreak, Raijin, and Cafe DRX still holding up the bottom, still need to show what they've got, but it's still early on. It's only week one. So yeah, I think, again, week one rankings are going to be relatively close. There's a lot of things you can talk about that provide variability between the teams. Are Horizon Gaming Zenith still actually as good as you think? They won against OME Outbreak, but who's to say the power of that win wasn't as good as the Clown Fiesta's winner, Scarlet Vengeance? The Clown Fiesta had a fantastic win over definitely NMU, and yet I still rank them higher. So what does that mean? Well, here's some justification. So our first seed, we've got Horizon Gaming Zenith. The player to watch actually is ASDF Hero. I was thinking about putting Jason Script. He is kind of the talk of the team, kind of the one person that I personally recognize from the roster. I don't recall where I've seen Jason Script, but kind of the wheelhouse of champions that he played in week one are reflective of what I expected out of the team. I actually have to go here to match reporting to remind myself what happened, right? I believe it was, yes, Victor and a Swain game. So these mid to long range control mages, Swain's like this battle mage type that Swain provides a lot of catch potential right now. But I think ASDF Hero actually played very well at diverse pool of champions. Like he switched from Karma to Nautilus and still impacted the map just as well as anybody else on the team. And I thought that ASDF Hero kind of acted as the catalyst for the team. from the looks of it, because there was one game where like Scomps was enabled heavily. There was one team where Jason Script was enabled heavily. They identified the carry threat in their composition each game and played very well to earn that 2-0 versus OME Outbreak. Do I think a little bit of of that match result was due to OME? Like, I guess, but at the same time, after week 1, I don't see a reason to drop Horizon Gaming from first until they're actually challenged by somebody. And then second, we've actually moved Scarlet Vengeance up. Why did we move Scarlet Vengeance up? Well, it's because the win was incredibly dominant. Dumb Jungler basically rolled the game himself. In fact, there were players on his team that were negative, I believe. Had negative KDAs. Kirito actually participated in a lot of kills, but like Dumb Jungler just... You don't give somebody who can play Hecarim on this patch. It's just, you just don't do it. The traditional counters and Graves aren't really proving to be that powerful, and his understanding of his build, being able to understand like what order is best to build these items in, really valuable. Ravenous Hydra hasn't been nerfed yet. Ravenous Hydra is going to be a problem. Spear of So Much Fun is in the game, and people are kind of realizing just how powerful Jack Show is, so there's really no doing anything about him. If you give him Hecarim, he's going to pop off. Again, week 1, result was incredibly dominant. For all I know, if Dumb Jungler doesn't pop off, this team doesn't look anywhere near as good, but I haven't been given a reason to believe that can't happen, and he can't do it on other champions, so that's my justification for that. And speaking of, I'm hoping this isn't me overhyping somebody who on paper is much lower ranked. Maybe some other teams have to figure some stuff out, but the Clown Fiesta just seemed to come in with this degree of synergy that can't really stop. Melmo, their ADC, popped off on multiple styles of champions. Again, I'm going to emphasize champion diversity, compositional diversity, and consistent success on teams. So Clown Fiesta played multiple different type of bot lane styles, yet Melmo still absorbed a ton of resources and used them efficiently. I think Melmo is kind of getting out the gates as one of the best ADCs in the league, and I think he needs to play against another equally strong ADC for us to really be able to see how he compares. Took a 2-0 versus definitely NMU, and this week going to be playing against Sun Leviathan to secure their spot in the top 3. So that will determine if they stay where they are. And speaking of Sun Leviathan, I put them 4th. Obviously, I put them with Spies, the jungler. They play very heavily through their jungler, heavy farming. Jungler last season, it worked fantastic. It's how they won CGG Platinum, is just playing through their top jungle duo. But a big difference now is that jungle is not as rewarding for power farming junglers. So Hecarim's strong, but Hecarim's build right now, his most optimal build, is focused around activity on the map, tanking, frontlining, all that good stuff. Don't take Dumb Jungler's results as an indicator, but again, that style is inconsistent. They performed very poorly in game 2. The game got out of control, and Void and JDK just kind of rolled their team. So I'm looking to see them try to shore up some more of that consistency and kind of trust the other lanes to perform better. That being said, I still think they're really consistent. They're able to play a bunch of different types of champions everywhere else. And I'm excited to see if Spies can diversify his champion pool and still dominate the way that he's traditionally dominated. And in 5th, DA Obsidian, again, talked about Void and JDK as being kind of like the catalyst of success on their team. They managed to pull a win against Sun Leviathan, and that's why I put the two teams right next to each other. Closest match, so it only makes sense to put them relatively close to each other in the power rankings. And then Lotus Ink Bullets. I know, oh, that's a 1. I need a 6. They are not first, they're 6th, guys. Anyways, Lotus Ink Bullets. They're the only team that won this week that I did not put in the top 5 of the power rankings, and the reason why is because of that result, 2-0 versus Cafe DRX. They did not face a very powerful opponent. They faced arguably the worst team in the early power rankings. However, I think that they have opportunities, kind of show what they're worth. It was an incredibly dominant week 1, and I had a hard time picking a player to watch. However, I decided to go with Nuffies, kind of solely because he's active in the Discord. Sorry. No, Nuffies performed very well, but they need to have a decisive win to like securely actually be in the top 5. Do I think they can do it? Yeah, absolutely. But I just like have a hard time putting them in the top when they're not really being tested at all. Whereas the 2 teams directly above them, either of those teams could have won their match, and it was a slugfest. So it's 2 teams that are absolutely making a run for the top, versus like Lotus, who absolutely could contend with them. I think 4, 5, and 6 all could be interchangeable, to be honest. And with that being said, these last couple are actually relatively easy. Definitely NMU, seriously disappointed. They went 0-2 versus the Clown Fiesta. ADC popped off. I think Beg for Mercy needs more attention. I think it's criminal to put your 31-point player on Malphite, have him still have the most consistent result of any player on your team, and just, it's crazy to me. Beg for Mercy seems like a really solid player, and I think that your team needs an identity that's not slowly lose. Unlock top lane, unlock mid lane, see if you can play around that. That being said, again, week 1, you might just be getting the rust off, and hopefully you'll get the rust off and come back and perform how Arcery originally put you in the power rankings. But for now, sincerely disappointing result. Not sure if it's on the merit of Clown Fiesta or if you guys just have something you need to figure out. And next, we have OME Outbreak. I am disappointed again that they're not playing to their strengths. Draft seemed to be a problem. They picked Rumble Jungle, which is a really powerful sleeper pick in my opinion right now. They can pop off really, really hard. That has a ton of ability to follow up on utility side lanes, but they didn't really draft around enabling a Rumble. And Gavin arguably performed the best on his team despite not having a composition built around Rumble. So I think, yes, they drew the short straw. They got Horizon Gaming Zenith. I think Gavin showed good strides. I think this team has potential to move up, but I just have a hard time seeing them move up. And I honestly could put these guys in 7th over definitely NMU. I just think that they need to show some signs of potential future success before I could do that. And next, got Raijin. And I actually put their only player without Raijin in the start of their name as their player to watch. Mickey Bro is trying his best, but he's kind of suffering from I'm a jungler with 3 losing laners. Scarlet Vengeance popped off. Scarlet Vengeance pretty much beat them all around. But I think it's actually a testament to Mickey Bro that like he held on as much as he could, despite the fact that Dumb Jungler was rolling this game. I think it was just a matter of like which jungler can impact the map the most fastest, and it was definitely just Dumb Jungler. I don't know if it's Hecarim, I don't know if it's Dumb Jungler, but across the board, just like I didn't see anything like anybody worth highlighting, so I went with who seemed to perform the least poorly, I guess. I'm excited to see if the team has better showings against teams lower in the standings, closer to them, but I think that they still have some growing to do before they can really perform. And spoilers, it's not going to get easier. They're against Horizon this week, so if they can somehow pull out a single game win against Horizon, I'll have an easier time putting them higher, but for now, no. And finally, Cafe DRX. Their player to watch, I put You're Cute. Their sub. I think that Lammer did his thing. He tried his best. He's the only player that seemed to have any kind of anything going on. And it just, like, it didn't matter. I think You're Cute, on their roster, You're Mad Cute, sorry, not You're Cute. You're Mad Cute is their sub. I think You're Mad Cute, second highest point threshold player on their team. Seems like a very solid jungler in solo queue, low diamond solo queue player. Might actually be something they need, but at 127 points already, they'd have to get rid of they'd have to bench their support probably and use a different support. But at the same time, like, I don't think their support, I'm not gonna say their name, YBL, we're calling them YBL, the support. I don't think YBL really justified the point threshold that's used on them, because they play all of these, like, inactive champions with lane combinations that don't enable them. So you're playing Sona and Nami. Like, Nami has potential, but isn't impacting the map. They're not winning the lane, so it doesn't matter. And then Sona is just, like, never going to win a lane, right? Sona just... You pray that they don't destroy you until 6, and then you hope that you have, like, an impactful low-range ult. You're like a worse Seraphine in every way. And even then, Seraphine's still not a good laner. Like, at all. You can abuse range versus melee matchups, but there's a lot of melee matchups that just jump you and you die anyways. So, I think Cafe DRX have to go back to the drawing board, consider some substitutions, or consider changing how they're building their roster. Or not their roster, but their compositions in games. I don't see them winning any games unless they squeak wins off of other lower ranked teams. So for now, I think Cafe DRX have a lot to work on, and I hope for better for them, but they're one of the few teams that are, like, solidly, you are in the bottom and you're probably stuck there for now. So I'm hoping they get some wins. I don't like to see a team just, like, lose across the board, but I'm not wholly confident. Especially considering they're playing against Scarlet Vengeance this week, who we just put in second. So, with that being said, onto something a little more exciting. I've chosen a match of the week. I don't want to seem too biased. It's not the stream. There's no stream this week. There could be a stream if any team, if this week plays on Wednesday, the default stream day. We don't have an assigned stream, but I'm willing to stream it next Wednesday for you. Yeah. Oh, it would have been today, actually. Next week. Anyways, the 14th. If anybody's playing on the 14th, it looks like I'm doing Clown Fiesta versus Lotus Ink Bullets, which I don't think is going to be the match of the week, because the match of the week this week is going to be Sun Leviathan versus the Clown Fiesta. I think a lot of the matchups this week are very lopsided and could potentially be boring. They're going to secure standings that are seemingly kind of in, like, cut and dry. But I think that Clown Fiesta is going to get a 2-1 win over Sun Leviathan. I think Sun Leviathan needs to work on, again, what they're doing with their bot lane situation. And I think that Clown Fiesta can abuse Sun Leviathan's bot lane for not only not laning the best, but for not being played around at all. I think that there is heavy potential for bot lane to get out of control, and I don't think that the amount of resources they can pump into top and mid lane will make up the difference unless they just, like, unless Sun Leviathan collapses in river and forces fights. I think when Sun Leviathan is just fist fighting in the river, they perform very well, but when they're not in the driver's seat, or when bot lane gets too out of control and gets more active on the map than them, then it's a problem, and they start losing. So I think this is going to be a very hype match, and I'm excited to see it. I believe it's actually scheduled for today, so we'll actually see how it goes. We'll see if it gets streamed. We'll see if we can do that. Don't forget to follow down there, twitch.tv/MetaShiftLeague, to catch any of the matches that get streamed. And yeah. But yeah, I do think it's going to be 2-1 for the Clown Fiesta. I hope I'm wrong. I'm the owner of the SEP of Sun. I'd like our guys to win. But But if I'm being realistic, I think the Clown Fiesta showed a lot more potential from their week 1 match. I'm pleasantly surprised with how they did. And I'm excited to see how they play throughout the rest of the season. So with that being said, my last little section here is weekly predictions. This is what my crystal ball says is going to happen. My crystal ball says DA Obsidian 2-0 over definitely NMU. I think that's pretty straightforward. I said DA Obsidian and Sun, pretty close. I think the Sun would dominate definitely NMU with how they're playing right now. So I'm expecting the same here. Clown Fiesta 2-1 versus Sun Leviathan. Already talked about that. This one, I actually think Lotus Ink Bullets 2-1 versus OME Outbreak. I think this could be one where OME Outbreak can pull out a game if they fix their draft problems. Otherwise, probably another 2-0, but I'm willing to take the risk and say they've learned their lesson from last week and can pull out a win. That being said, I still think Lotus Ink Bullets has higher highs. I still think Lotus Ink Bullets is a better team in terms of consistency, and I do think they're going to ultimately pull out the win. And then the last two, Horizon Gaming Zenith and Scarlet Vengeance. Sorry, Raijin and Cafe DRX, you drew the short straws this week. You're probably going to get 2-0'd, and you need to do your best. So, that being said, I hope everybody has a good day, and I hope you guys like this kind of content and want to keep having this kind of content made, power rankings and discussion. We can have longer form discussions when I'm not alone. I'm more than willing to have people on the show. So that being said, if you want to get involved, please reach out to me. My Discord is DoryK8008. We can get you on the show. We can get you to provide your own personal power rankings. I want you guys to provide me as much information as you can. Tell me about your team. Tell me your history. What have you won? What have you lost? Where have you been? What kind of things have your players done in the past before? And how excited are you to be playing in Krypton this season? How excited are you to show what you can do? So, and in the future, there's one camera spot right here. I can make it 2. I can make it 4. I can make it 4 camera spots. We can have more people on the show. I'm willing to talk to people about the state of Krypton. I want to see how involved you all can get in the community and how involved you can get in making this the most hyped season of Krypton that you could have. So with that being said, don't forget to follow us at twitch.tv/metashiftleague, myself, twitch.tv/IamDoryK, and make sure you don't miss a single streamed Krypton Division match. They're going to start either next Wednesday or this Wednesday. No, yeah, next Wednesday. They start next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. They start Wednesday the 14th, 8 p.m. EST. Don't forget to miss our first stream match of the division, Clown Fiesta taking on Lotus Ink Bullets. Without further ado, thank you very much for your time, everyone, and I'll see you later.